Tony and Casey's Best of Food and Wine on Smooth and Easy. CL 650.
It's just like the ocean under the moon. It's the same as the emotion that I get from you. You got the kind of love.
Welcome back to the Best of Food and Wine. I'm Tony Gismondi.
I'm Casey Wilson.
If you read the Vancouver Sun this morning, which I'm sure you all do, right? First thing on Saturday.
We do.
And looked at the wine selections. One of the wines in the Sun today we're going to taste right now. So you can come over and say, you're full of baloney, Gismondi.
I don't think
Or you can say, great selection. Our next guest joins us to talk about it. Michele Bernetti is the owner of Umani Ronchi.
Yes.
Great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
It's a great old brand. You've been in the market quite a long time, but I think now things are really taking off for you in Italian wine.
Definitely, I think is good afternoon, and yes, it's quite positive moment because there is definitely growing interest on the local varietals, on the indigenous Italian varietals, and definitely I think is Verdicchio is one of the real important wine.
You know, one of the things I like to say to you is that we spent 20 years learning about wine, varietal wine, all of us, and we were drinking Cabernet and Chardonnay and Sauvignon and really studying, and now I think we're ready. Before we weren't ready to drink Verdicchio. Now we have a market that's fully ready and understands wine and wants to try different wines. So I think it's a great time to bring wines like that to us. So let's start with Umani Ronchi. Where is it? Situated for us.
Okay, it's Umani Ronchi is the name of actually the founder, whose family name was Umani Ronchi. My grandfather from my mother's side went in partnership in the late 60s, and we bought out the company because Mr. Umani Ronchi left the business basically.
Yeah.
And so I represent the third generation, and we are located in the Marche region, which is this. Actually, the New York Times made 2 years ago a beautiful article, and the title was Italy's Best Kept Secret. So this secret is located by the Adriatic, basically across Tuscany, across Umbria, on the eastern part of Italy. We grow about I think maybe the major appellations are Verdicchio, of course, and Verdicchio di Jesi and Verdicchio di Matelica, and the Rosso Conero, which is small DOC by the Adriatic, by the sea.
Okay, so we're going to start. You actually brought 2 Verdicchio with you. Yeah. So let's talk about the grape and then the 2 wines.
Yeah, Verdicchio is a grape that is actually basically cultivated just in the Marche, and even if the Trebbiano di Lugana is apparently the same varietal, the same grape, the same clone of this fantastic grape that is quite sometimes quite productive, but probably in this region has found the ideal place with soils that are quite rich of clay, and for this reason, even in difficult vintages, when it's, for instance, is quite warmer, the clay retains a bit of humidity of water, and we are able to mix wine that are fantastic because they are quite fresh, full, rich, but at the same time with a good acidity, which is.
Sometimes I think, I don't know, you hear the word Verdicchio and you think the wine is skinny, but it's not a skinny wine. It has nice richness to it.
It's quite rich, and actually the skin is quite thick in effect, if we think, you know, but is
on the grape, you mean?
On the grape, but of course the wine has this beautiful, I cannot say creaminess, but there's a kind of richness.
Yeah, it has the texture.
It's a wine that has an incredible aging potential. Probably, I think in Italy it's probably the variety with the most important capacity of aging very well, and this honey character is really brought out when we spend some time in the bottle.
Yeah.
We recently tasted we did a vertical tasting a few weeks ago, and we started from 99 after the Plenio, which is the Verdicchio Riserva, and that was amazing, and people attending the tasting was really amazed by this.
So it's a bit like Semillon in the bottle. It starts to fatten up a bit and get a bit richer with time.
Absolutely, it's a wine that needs a bit of bottle, and in fact, it's quite fun that I sometimes when I taste the wine abroad in countries that are quite far away, I taste and I quite like the wines more than when I taste at home, because at home I grabbed the bottle out of the warehouse.
Yes.
And maybe it was bottled a few weeks ago before. And when I taste abroad, the one has spent some time in the bottle, has developed, this Verdicchio has developed,
Yeah.
as I say, complexity basically, that is sometimes.
Is it a difficult grape to grow?
Is quite difficult because in some cases it's quite late maturing varietal. We harvest between the end of September and the beginning of October, and the bunch is quite tight, and so in very wet vintages it keeps the humidity inside, and this sometimes can be a bit
problem.
dangerous. Yes, for
Yeah.
the but other than that is I think is vintage like 2014 that was quite wet. We made fantastic quality, so I think it's great grape to grow.
Our guest is Michele Bernetti. He's the owner of Umani Ronchi. We're actually tasting two Verdicchio. So we just had the Castel de Sierra, which, as I say, was in the paper this morning, but widely available in British Columbia for $17.99. Another fantastic price when you think about it. We didn't mention maybe what we could eat with. What would you have for dinner? What would you serve with it?
Quite obvious, I would say some shellfish or
yes, that would be
of
very
course,
good.
which is I think it's a fantastic.
Maybe even lobster, eh?
A lobster or something. But I think this kind of wine, I think they go very well with some recipes like fish that cooked in the oven. Sometimes at home we do with potatoes and a bit of tomatoes.
Yes.
And
Wow.
with olive oil, and I think it has really the richness to
embrace all that. Yeah. Okay, tell us about this. So the second wine is a single vineyard Verdicchio?
Yes, exactly.
From a specific site?
From a specific place, which is a hill located at 450, almost 500 meters above the sea level. It's the highest elevation in the Verdicchio di Jesi area. And also the appellation is a Riserva category, which is really one of the few white wines in Italy to have the Riserva category, which is normally related to red wines. And it's a wine that is for percentage, which is around 60%, aged sur lie on the lees in concrete tanks, and 40% in large cask, the botti, which are quite neutral, but they add a little bit of complexity to the wine that I think make the wine very elegant, very fine, a super white wine, I think.
It feels like you've experimented a lot at the winery with.
We did, and in
Verdicchio.
effect, this wine has changed in the style quite much. We started in '95 for the first vintage. At the time was 100% barrel fermented, and then we did some travel, and one travel was very important. We made in Alto Adige. We noticed that there was many producers using aging white wines like Pinot Bianco, for instance,
Yes.
in the large cask, in the big cask made by Austrian oak or
Yes,
Slavonian oak,
Slavonian,
and we decided to bring in the Verdicchio, and we find a very good balance, I think.
I like the concrete too. I think it also adds a component to the wine. There's a creaminess and a richness from that without any oak influence too. So but it's quite a big wine. Powerful.
And this is in such a dark bottle for a white wine.
Well, it's because it's wine that is, in our opinion, is meant to age, and it's meant to last for many years, and I think the dark bottle
will protect it.
Protect the wine pretty well.
Very good. The Riserva Plenio?
Reserva
Why do you call it
Plenio?
Plenio?
Plenio is because from the Latin plenum, which is full, so exactly like you say when you taste it.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, the full body, full character of the wine.
And just for consumers, the Castelli di Jesi, is how do you explain that on the label?
Castelli di Jesi is like the Castelli Romani concept. I try to compare, which means basically Jesi is a village which is at the center of the valley where Verdicchio grows, and the Castelli are the castles that are because all the little villages on the hills surrounding the city of Jesi are surrounded by ancient walls, and from far away they look like castles. So this is the Castelli di Jesi, the Jesi castles.
That's so good.
Hills.
Yeah, perfect explanation.
Yes.
That's great. Okay, and the final wine, which I haven't seen in a while, so let's catch up with this Conero Riserva.
Yes, the Conero is first of all is a beautiful mountain. It's probably really the place in the Marche region. The place to go is this beautiful mountain that is straight over the Adriatic. It dives basically into the water, and it creates a very particular microclimate. It's a kind of, sometimes I used to say that it's a kind of a drop of Montepulciano in a sea of Sangiovese, which is usually to be dominating the planting in the Marche region. So there is, in this little place, traditionally we've been growing Montepulciano.
Yep.
It's the northest place where you grow Montepulciano in Italy. And I think we make a Montepulciano that is slightly less concentrated, rich, powerful than the brother from the Abruzzo.
Yes.
But I think it's very elegant. It's really
Super
a
elegant.
character that is given by the proximity to the sea.
Yeah.
The intensity of the light, the breeze in the summer, the milder temperature that keeps the wine very elegant.
The tannins are terrific. It's just so soft and supple.
But
And
at the same time are there, no? They are
Yeah, they're there, but
exactly.
they're dense and soft.
Yeah,
They're not hard.
No, absolutely. They're not green, no? They're not.
No,
No.
not at all. No.
And what would you like to eat with this wine?
I will go with some. Okay, I think lamb is a perfect match. Is also
Yes.
is part of the sometimes the tradition, and even if it's quite interesting that is the Conero is really by the sea, as I say, that sometimes is locally consumed with some like bluefish,
Yes.
grilled and fish that has some intense flavor, and they can go. I think we can close the eyes and and match it anyway.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that.
right.
Delicious. Is that a new package too, or like
It's
such a
it's a particular package because
Yeah.
the four red dots.
the four
that
red
are,
dots are
they represent a fruit, which is the fruit at the origin. It's a fruit that comes from a tree, which is very typical of the Mediterranean forest that covers the Monte Conero, which is a natural park. It's a tree called corbezzolo, and I never found a translation in English, but it's a plant that was called by the ancient Greeks Komaros, and so they call this area Komaros because full of this tree. And then in ancient Italian, the word became Cumaro. That's how we call the wine. And then modern
Cumaro,
Italian is
yeah.
Conero.
Oh.
So we represented with the four dots the fruit that
And-
is give the origin of the name
it's good to eat, or
of the.
How's the
It's
fruit?
quite tannic,
yeah.
and it ripens in October. It's quite so late in the season. It's
Yeah.
an evergreen tree, and we make a fantastic honey from the corbezzolo or marmalade, which is very good for matching with cheese.
Wow. Well, just a fantastic tasting. Thanks so much for that, Michele. I would like to mention that the three wines we tasted today are all available in British Columbia. You can buy the Castle de Sierra, the Verdicchio from Umani Ronchi, $17.99. They're just giving it away in stores. Such a delicious wine. And a favorite of Tim Pazzi's, I know that because he's written about it many times. And the Plenio, also the single vineyard Verdicchio, is available in private wine stores. It's $33.99, and then the Conero, or the Cumaro, as we learned today, is a sensational wine. $36. I mean, come on, folks. You buy a bottle of Bordeaux, it costs you $500. You can buy 10. You can buy almost 20 bottles of that for that.
Thank you, Tom.
Great nights. Thanks so much for bringing
Thank
the
you
wines.
very much.
Good to have you back in Vancouver. Enjoy the rest
Thank
of the
you.
festival.
I'll do, definitely.
And
Thank
head
you.
up to Whistler to ski.
Michele
I know.
Bernetti, thanks so much. Well, we should thank Dorothy Budden, too. She's working very hard just pouring wines here and organizing her team.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
We are live for another half hour here on the Best of Food and Wine. Art, we have a fantastic gift. People are standing around. They should sign up because they can they buy a painted boat, or what do they do? Go sailing in a painted boat, or
No, the resort is called Painted Boat.
Okay, that's it.
Paintedboat.com. You can win a 2-night stay at the waterfront villa at the Painted Boat Resort Spa and Marina on the Sunshine Coast.
And
It includes BC ferries. It
And-
includes a deluxe breakfast.
and
It includes a couple's massage.
there we go.
So just
Casey Wilson
come
got a
by our
chuckle
booth.
out of that. Casey, have
I
you been up
did.
to the Painted Boat?
I have not been there,
You haven't
Tony.
been
I'd
to the
love
Painted
to go.
Boat. Okay.
I know you're up in that
Maybe we
region
could
a
go
lot.
up there and get a couple's massage.
I think so.
Or a couple of massages.
That's
yeah,
what I would go for.
That sounds
Yeah.
better.
Okay. Stick around. You're listening to the Best of Food and Wine. We're on CL 650 AM. We'll be here until 4:30. Then we're back tonight live at 7 o'clock for another 2 hours to wrap up the 38th Vancouver International Wine Festival. 60 wineries from Italy alone, 155 from around the world. We'll be right back.
3 things you need to do at the 2016 Vancouver International Wine Festival. 1. Visit the theme region of Italy. 2. Visit the Best of Food and Wine stage inside the theme region. And 3. Enter to win a deluxe 2-night stay in a waterfront villa at Painted Boat Resort Spa and Marina on the Sunshine Coast. Winner announced 9 p.m. Saturday. Italian is as easy as 1, 2, 3 with Sea Isle 650.